Everywhere you go, and you're like a do somethinger.
Okay.
You're like one of our do something people.
Yeah.
And it was important for me to like tap your shoulder and be like, hey sis, you want to jump on this show? So I thank you for being here on this show today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
You're one of my favorite people.
You're here on the show. It's about us, but it's mostly about you.
Okay.
Because I think you do some amazing things, and I be wondering like, how the hell did she do it all?
Okay.
And so like, I just want like, give me your background. Like, what are you coming from? Like, you just appeared out of the sky. Like, how did you get up to Albany? How did you get into the Capital Region?
Okay.
What the hell?
All right.
Tell us.
So let's start with how I even have a background to get here to meet you guys. How that all can align. Right?
Yes.
So that begins with my love for music, my love for the entertainment business. I went to school for music business and communications. I actually had to create my major because if anyone out there knows, when you go to school for music business, they make you take mostly business administration. Mm-hmm. And me understanding that communication is literally the link to getting into the music business, I'm like, no. People who take music industry need to learn how to communicate. And if they know how to communicate, then they can connect.
Yeah.
So that's that. I did a bunch of small internships from production assistant, street team, promotions.
For what company? What do you?
So I did production assistant for Nikki Irvin, which he was a guy I knew locally, a friend, and he had this cool studio in his garage, and a few of the artists that would record in there are now like have deals and things of that nature. But at the time it was fun. It was like, I want to learn engineering, right? So I went through all of the phases of what I wanted to do and what I wanted to learn. In school, I used to sing classical and be very interested in...
classical music?
I know, it's so interesting.
We were just talking about...
That at an event, right?
No, we were talking about your like affinity for trap music, and like classical was like the last thing I thought.
I know. It's like that kid who's like really good at baseball, and his parents are like, you really need to take up this thing, and they're like, no, I want to play kites.
Yeah. I want to do exactly the opposite of what my parents.
But no, I was into it. It was cool. I think what I learned from it was even more important. It just expanded my range vocally and understanding cultures and languages and things of that nature, because we had to sing in different languages. But I also was like into engineering and understanding like what it's like to be a producer and music engineer.
Sonic levels. And
somewhere along the line, I thought I'd be better at music business because of the consulting that I didn't know I was doing. You know? And so I would have meetings, right? Which now, what do we call them? Services, right?
Yes. We call them consulting services. Yes.
So me meeting with people and
the artists that you're working with
artists, right? Yeah. And people, I'm talking about people from my community at the time, or people who had sometimes had like a deal on the table or something, you know, coming, but didn't know what direction they wanted to go in. And I would have meetings with people and like, all right, from A to Z, this is what you need to do, and break it down. But I didn't really understand that was an area. So, you know, I'm just like, you should know this.
Yeah.
Duh. And then once I got into school and started to understand the business, branding and marketing and management, that's when I really was like, and contracts. That's when I really was like, oh, I love the back end of this, because I think that, you know, having trust with creatives is one thing, but then them trusting you to lead them to the right place is another thing.
That's got to be a real skill, because now you're like, this person has gotten to this point where they gotten this deal, and they're like, well, I did this all by myself. What you gonna teach me about how to help? What was that? How does that experience?
I wasn't necessarily working with people who had it yet. They were like always on the edge.
Okay.
And also you got to remember me not understanding where I fit into things. Like, if you went and said that, I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know necessarily what my value was here yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're talking like early 20s. You're talking like 19 through 21-ish. You know?
Yeah.
So.
Where did you go to school?
SUNY Fredonia.
Okay, yeah.
But anyway, fast forwarding, after doing those small internships, I think I mentioned one of them was for Nikki Urban, the other one was for Mayfac Music, but it's not what it sounds like.
Okay, what does it sound? Tell us a little bit behind the scenes then.
It's not what it sounds. I've never met Rick Ross.
Okay, because you know I'm about to ask you that question. Like, yo, show Rick Ross.
It was literally a street team through online.
Yeah.
It was an internship that called for people or students to gather college radio information and contact information for Stolly. Remember that artist, Stolly? So he was just an artist that was signed under Maybach Music. And it was just about, you know, promotion, street promotions, as they call it.
So you learn, I mean, you're pretty much learning from the ground up. How to build up an artist.
Right.
In that situation.
And that led me to Rock Nation, which once I had these smaller things down, I was able to, you know, get that.
Yeah.
That
See,
internship.
this is what I want. This is the point of do something, right? Because I feel like people, they're like, they don't know the like connections of like what it really takes. Like, you know, like really you got to start like just by plugging the light into the wall. Like, and then learning how to do that most efficiently all the time at the drop of a hat. And then almost without people saying. So I feel like you were like that plug where you were just like, all right, I'm learning this artist that I didn't really know about. I'm not, you know, Pat knows about. Pat's like, he's a crate digger. So we know crate diggers be like, yeah, you would know who Stahl was.
Well, in my mind, it was opportunity. It was an opportunity to still stay in the industry. And to learn and not just credit-wise, I understood what was needed to get these bigger positions and get into these bigger companies that, you know, they want to see that you've already put in work somewhere else.
So how did you come up on the Rockefeller deal? What, you know, Jay-Z pull you into the door.
That's OD.
He's like, yo, I need Glow in here. I need you to call her up right now, bring her, you know, to the office.
No, it didn't happen like that.
No, damn.
But there is some weird 6 degrees somewhere that never connected me there, but did still connect. So, and like literally my experience is so separate. It's like one person might think, well, that was there, you should have gotten it that way. And it's like, not. So I truly do believe like when things are meant for you, they're meant for you. And you don't need, and I know you guys tease me about having connections and knowing people.
She still got connections.
But I do feel like it's the simple things that usually get you the things you want. It's not what you think. It's never that. So, okay. My, the way I got there was, so the way I knew to have more than one internship was there was this young lady in my class, I don't remember her name, unfortunately. And we were talking after class, and she seemed to be like the class favorite. or the teacher's favorite. Just
Teacher's
because
pet?
she had, not really a pet, like she had experience. So he was like using her as an example.
Right.
And I was like, I'm always like that person, like, you know how they say, you're the smartest in the room, you're in the wrong room. Like, right.
You put yourself in those spaces.
Yeah, so if there's somebody where I'm like, they have something more, I'm inspired by that. I'm not like, that doesn't deter me. I'm like, all right, I got to figure this out. No, I can't be you, but I can be a better version of me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
some of that rolls off. It rubs off.
Yeah.
I put myself, every day I'm trying to put myself in rooms where people know more than me.
Right.
Because it just makes me better.
Yeah.
At the shit.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
So she had 4 internships down pat as a
Sheesh.
senior, and I was like, I barely got one.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought it was cool. I was like, you have 4, and she's like breaking it down, you know, what she's done in the summers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, how are you getting these? Like, who are you talking to? Because I don't really know anybody to get me into these places. And she was like, there's a Google, and this is a plug, so I hope if y'all ever see this that y'all remember.
Look into the camera right there. Right there.
I plugged y'all.
There you go.
Okay.
Let them know.
It was a Google group called Women in Music.
Yeah.
And you sign in. There was a fee for it, and you get all these emails from women in the industry, just flowing. And I'm still in it.
I feel like women be looking out for each other.
Yes.
Like if we all did that for each other, like simultaneously, it would be on and popping. I mean, that was just my plug. But
so I had Atlantic, right? I was like, okay, that could be a thing. Yeah. But if I wanted Rock Nation just because of how I feel about
you was shooting for the stars. You was like, listen, all right, okay. What is it? Who was hot in Atlantic right at that time?
Who was hot in Atlantic at that time? I don't even remember.
Lord have mercy. Yeah, you didn't really want to be at Atlantic.
I would have done it. I would have done it. It wasn't that
you ain't. And then I'm sure there's some names.
It was just that I was like manifesting something else.
You were literally sleeping at the altar of Jay-Z at that point.
A psychopath. Anyway, I interview. I have the interview. I just remember being like so nervous, but also like, I did it. Like, came out to talk to me. And then one of the questions was like, what is my favorite Jay-Z song? And I was like, actually, it's a verse, right?
Yeah.
And then so I felt different, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then I started to rap Marcyville, Jay's verse on Marcyville.
So you in your interview for the intern, rapping for the person that's interviewing you? Okay. Are you willing to kick that verse right now or no?
I'm for murder, Marcyville. You heard? You certainly will.
Hey.
So he was like, oh, word. Like, you know, he's like, now there's interest because it's like, all right, you really know your stuff. So have the interview. Again about follow-up. He didn't say anything. I didn't hear anything. I'm 2 weeks away from graduation.
So you done poured your heart out. You done
nothing. We were about to go in class. You know, you have that like 5-minute span or whatever. And I like emailed the director or the manager from Rock Nation.
Oh, you went above his head.
No, him. I emailed him. He was the digital marketing manager.
Okay.
And he was like, oh, my bad. I forgot to get to you. Welcome to the team. And then I'm like, yo, like this is literally real time.
Yeah.
We got to go in class, our music management class, right?
Oh,
and I'm like, yo, he said, welcome to the team.
Yeah.
She was like, you lie. You know, so we were celebrating and we go in class and we're getting yelled at for something. I think it was like
your exam.
We all were
terrible.
Managers. We had bands. We had to create our own bands.
Okay.
And we managed these bands. We put them together and everything, instruments, getting them into place, all of that. And we were getting yelled at for some stuff.
You don't even remember. I don't even.
I remember. I mean, I was happy, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't hear that negativity.
So you know what? Nothing can mess up my day.
So my friend goes, excuse me, sir. I don't mean to interrupt interrupt you, but Gloria just got an internship with home. And then the teacher goes, Jay-Z.
So all that bad news you talking?
And and this is the funny part. This is like, sorry, Mr. Petrie. This is like the phony part. He goes, and you see this right here is what I'm talking about. Now I was the star, right? In the class. I was just getting like yelled at.
Usually yelled at.
This is what I'm talking. This is someone that's going places.
This is why I ride y'all so hard.
You literally didn't care, like 2 seconds ago.
Wow.
But it was all good. So I also was about to study abroad. So I had that. I was going to Italy for about 6 weeks.
Wow. So you just be like, that's what I'm noticing. You do it, you like, listen, if it's an opportunity to like learn something, you just go
and
for it.
It's gonna make me happy.
Yeah.
You know?
So what was the switch from the Italy thing? So cause you got your pretty much dream internship. What was the transition? What did you learn there that you kind of was
Italy, I wanted to go to Italy and I wanted to take a class to do so, right? I wanted to go with a group. So I was like, I'm gonna do the abroad, and then my internship started like 3 days after. So I went from Italy to Brooklyn in like 3 days. So that there was no switch. It was always like the plan, but it was an art class that we were taking. So I mean, I love the arts. I love entertainment. I love everything about.
It's all connected.
Right.
It's all connected.
To me, it's like, there is no difference, right? Yeah. Like I can look at Magna Carta a certain way because I just came from Italy.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
And I'm sure. But
that was the album that was out of time.
And it's those little experiences that I think gives you a little bit more insight of what market. This will look good in this market. When you can give insight as an intern to increase the production that you're on. Like, right. You know, I was just asking my intern what was the song that just came on, if she knew the artist. She didn't know the artist, but you know what I'm saying? You know, I just want to shout her out. Say, hey, shout out to Jada, you know what I mean? Hey, you know, but you know, it's those little things I think that we all we want to add something. When you're in the space, you want to be able to add something. And I feel like that's how you've always been. And so I don't want to like fast forward like too quick, but I do want to acknowledge these are all the experiences that you have. I don't think people knew that about you. No. And so like, which is why you're able to be like, what did Jay-Z put me anywhere on God's green earth? Do you know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's always been the like profile of who you are. And so now you're like here in Albany. And like, tell us about getting here and being like, what's going on here? How do I inject myself into this with this like mentality, this hustle mentality?
Sure. So I was working as a project manager for a manufacturing company. But also always still working on my own creative stuff. So I was producing a discussion forum / talk show called Crown Talk, which was under my company, Crown and Glory. And so I was always doing that, but always like still working. So I really enjoyed being a project manager. I learned a lot. I had to learn really quickly. And I learned in a white and male dominated space. So it also taught me about, you know, how I need to handle myself and how I need to speak up and how I need to, you know, show my worth and make sure that anything that has to do with me is always put as a priority when dealing with others.
Taking up space.
Yes, taking up space. And being respected, but also being kind. You know, I think it's okay to demand respect, but there's a way that you can do it with grace. So I'm really big on that. So that company, we had lost our customer who was 80% of our revenue. And we were now shutting down. So I wind up helping them close down. and now we all have to find a job, right?
Yeah.
So people are getting let go. It's like the Great Depression.
You can
right?
see it. You can see the chips.
I mean, you can see the emotion. It's just like, and you're not sure what day.
Yeah.
But I held the key because I held the information.
Yeah.
That was closer to the people who are in the higher position. So letting me go would be letting everything.
Practically them.
Yeah.
When you start letting go of a person of this, now you know your day is.
So then that also taught me about what it means to be essential. You know, it's not about just titles. It's like
being irreplaceable.
Irreplaceable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what that means.
Yeah.
You know, I can bring something to you, but you can't go without it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like, you know, once I'm gone, you damn near you gonna have to create two positions.
Yeah, and
just
with
to do
all, you know, with all, as humble as I can say it, I know that. I know that I bring that. You know what I mean?
You seeing this? This is exactly why I fucks with her. Because she can literally be swinging her like proverbial shit around and she just be like, so what do you think we should do? How do you think we should go about it? And this is, and I learned more about you because we do this podcast called
Glow in the Bros.
Glow in the Bros.
And it's my bro.
Yeah, so we have I let her talk. We've had this conversation about letting people talk, and so this show is definitely gonna be one of our longer shows.
I'm sorry, is that a bad thing?
Nah, we're trying to keep this thing 20 minutes.
Okay, we can just move on.
But I do believe I think that's all the things I wanted to pull out. I think you already kind of addressed is the ability to like be a powerful spirit, but not like be the person that's like the fear. There's like this fear that walks into the room of like, don't fuck up, Glow's here. Like, you can't do that.
Oh no.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I want you to be yourself, because I can't give you the best of myself if you're not the best of you.
Wow.
So for me, it's like, why would I diminish that?
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
I love it.
I can't do that. That would take away from me.
Glow, I love that about you.
So, I'm big on just accepting everybody for who they are. They're good, they're bad. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong, there's boundaries, and you don't want to be disrespected, but accepting is saying this is where you are right now. Mm-hmm. This is where I am right now. How can I meet that with kindness?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's beautiful. So, you're doing a whole new thing now. Like you're literally flying free right now.
Yeah.
What are you doing now? What is that? How are you taking all of those things that you've learned over the past few years, and what are you doing now so people could like get with you?
Right now, I'm getting hit up for project management. Okay. People who have small businesses or just have a lot of business affairs that they're trying to juggle, trying to understand how to prioritize, meet their dead dates, do what for themselves what they would do for other people, meaning like if I promised you I'll be here for Monday, then if I promise myself I'll be here Monday, then I'll be here Monday. So looking at yourself in that same light and saying like, this is serious to you and I care about it, so it's serious to me and I care about it, and helping them prioritize, helping them with the task management, the brainstorming, the development of their process and growing their business. And so that's what I'm doing now. Beautiful. And you can get in touch with me. You can go to my website, Crown and Glory. That's Crown with a Q, so QROWN and Glory, GLORY.com.
We're gonna put it on text right over.
Yay!
Right over your shoulder.
And on there, if you go to the Create tab, you can send me a message, or you can email me at crownandglory.inquiries. crownandglory.inquiries@gmail.com as well, or you can hit me on Facebook at Gloria Green, or on
unless it crashes,
but if it crashes,
got your website and all that.
Got our website.
Boom.
So it's just easy.
You be thinking about stuff. This is why I bangs with you. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm sorry this went longer, but want me to talk about my life. It's gonna be a lot of chit chat.
I feel like that was how the thread was. Is like just getting it in and not being afraid, and also just having a certain air of like, nope. Yeah, Atlantic's good, but
and can I say something?
What up?
I'm just gonna leave off with this. The thing that is going to get you to the next level is the thing that is in front of you. Having bigger connections does not necessarily mean next level. So people who are always looking for that thing and that person, they're probably around you. So align yourself where you want to be, and those things will naturally align with you.
Wow. That's the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. I hope y'all was taking notes. There was a lot of gems in there. We got a show. We got shows. They're coming. More shows like this.
Word.
Do Something podcast.
Yes.
Spotify, YouTube, Facebook. Holla at us.
Thank you for having me.
No problem.
I love
you,
and
I love you too.
I wish you much success.
Thank you so much.
Word.
Peace.
Peace.